It also has only been released for a week, so
yeah, so it's not there
Has it only
yet.
been a week? It feels like so much longer.
It officially came out last week.
Okay, so my sense of time is just off because I thought Lycus was 2 years ago and I thought this was 2 weeks ago. I mean,
yeah. No, that's the thing. It's like timing is thrown off a little bit because we do get access to stuff at different times.
I thought you were going to say timing was thrown off because we lost an hour.
That too.
I didn't lose an hour.
Yeah, you
didn't lose an hour. Although I did have to get up an hour earlier to record, so
me too.
I feel like I did lose an hour.
Welcome to Preferred Enemies, the Warhammer 40k podcast that's got a bundle of news to cover. I'm your host, Rob.
Kevin.
Dennis.
And Richard.
And yeah, normally we would have some sort of more comprehensive topic to discuss on an episode, but we're a little shorter on time this time, and we've just got a lot of things that have come out over the last couple of weeks since we last recorded. And so we decided this is a perfect opportunity to kind of cover those and see where things are going. And I'm going to start with the most recent one. This one actually popped up just a couple of days ago as of time of recording. And it's kind of funny because in our last episode on our predictions of 11th edition, we had the prediction orcs will still be crumpin', and we said yes, they will be, and now we have confirmation of that because a potato quality photo of a torn, discarded package, aka a la the Magnus the Red Gambit from several years ago, when they're like somebody fished one out of the trash.
What's really funny too is like that's the low quality and like the tears and stuff like that are all hallmarks of like, oh, this is AI generated and somebody is like trying to cover that up. But no, this actually was real.
Yeah, there was real. We now live in the age where everything could be AIs. I saw people saying like, oh yeah, like this doesn't seem to be connecting right, and I don't know about this. The poll seems to. What are we talking about? We're talking about a new multi-part plastic orc war boss that actually has multiple options.
Okay, Rob, I will say parts not looking like they connect right. I think that's a GW hallmark. Just look at a lot of the spindly things they do.
This is true. This is very true.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because man, every war boss that we've had practically ever has just been, here's the kit, put it together. He's got a power claw and a big noisy gun, and that's him. Maybe you'd have an option for like what logo's on his back pole, or maybe a head option. But like for the longest time, it was, that Black Reach war boss.
Yep.
And then
Classic
there was
standby.
what was that Space Wolves Orcs box?
Oh,
not Blood Claw.
Fang Blood Fang Claw
Storm Claw.
Maybe
No.
I think it's Stormclaw.
The box that had a new orc war boss, and for a little while he was a named orc war boss, but then he just kind of became the kill team orc war boss.
Mm-hmm. So, question about this multi-part plastic orc model, Richard. What's your favorite part of it? Is it the attack squig? Is it the awesome ammo runt? Is it like the cool gun that he has, the power claw? Like, what's your favorite part of this? Because there's so many.
I think I have to as being a fan of weird little guys, like the little Rambo like ammo runt is pretty awesome.
I kind of thought you were going to answer that, so that's awesome. I really love the attack squig.
Yeah, he's pretty great too.
One thing I'll notice about the style of this, though, is orcs in the past, and including the war bosses and stuff, have kind of veered towards the cartoonish a little bit, and they haven't had the same kind of proportion update that we've seen on other models. Like we've obviously with Space Marines, with cultists and guardsmen and traitor guardsmen, stuff like that, where they've kind of gotten like a slimmer, more like actual proportion modeling. And there's something about this orc war boss and how he's proportioned and sculpted that makes him seem strangely more realistic, less cartoony. I think even the attack squig doesn't look as cartoony as we've seen in the past. It looks like an actual rather horrifying creature.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does have to do with the proportions, and a lot of times orcs in general just have really short stubby legs. And this guy does not have short stubby legs. He is big and he has like limbs that seem to be like appropriate for his bulk. Yeah, it's just, he looks pretty badass.
Yeah. And even the like the face has like around like the eyes and nose slightly finer sculpting. Like it's just again like tighter detail. And this is not the only orc we're going to get, because they said we'll want to check back on Monday. So it's like one of these things. We weren't quite ready to drop it unless we were, and that was an intentional leak, which is always possible. But we're getting more orc stuff on Monday, which I know we don't like to talk about rumors, but it has been bounced around for months now that 11th edition starter box will be orcs versus some flavor of Space Marines.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say they're going to announce an orc flyer.
They've had orc flyers for a while.
But not a new one.
We don't want a new flyer. No one wants a new flyer.
The great thing with the orc flyers is you just take the existing kits and just smash them together and you make a bigger flyer. There you go.
And then it shoots better because it's bigger, right?
Exactly.
No, what you do is you put together the orc flyer and then you hit it with a hammer and then grab an orc truck kit and give it wheels, and then it's no longer a flyer, and then it's good again.
Yes, oh my gosh, that would be an amazing battle wagon.
Yeah,
that would be like an amazing battle. Oh my god, kind of want to do that now.
Kevin with his infinite army ideas.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, no, new war boss looks cool.
Yeah, new war boss looks cool. We're going to be getting more orcs, and we haven't even have Adepticon yet when we'll get more preview stuff. That's in 3 weeks from now, or at least as of time recording. But
and I had just converted myself a brand new war boss.
Guess what? You're going to be doing it again. You're going to make another one.
Yep.
You might buy 2 or 3 of these and make all of them. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
That is not the only new model that has been announced. When we recorded last time, we were talking about would there be a new Demon Primarch? And the reason we were saying that is, well, they had kind of, obviously Reign of Iron. We're thinking maybe Perturabo. And they had teased like, hey, there's going to be something big coming out like in the next day. The big thing was not a Demon Primarch. We don't have a Demon Primarch Perturabo. So still could be on track for 11th. He's not predating 11th. Instead, we get a new Imperial Knight, the Imperial Knight Destrier, which is not just a new kit for the Questoris Knights, nor is it a new kit for the Armiger Knights. It is in between. Yeah. It is a new class called the Bellatus class, which
what do you mean new class? These have always been around. These have always been around.
It's always been there.
You mean it's not just Destroyer misspelled?
No, it is not.
I will say this, like, aside from the fact that like it's fits in between like the size of the other knights, I just kind of like this a little bit more because I like the forward kind of the forward lancer kind of legs, and like I don't know, it just looks cool. It's a cool profile.
Yeah, and it does remind, like, it's got that like power lance or spear, although it can take a chainsword instead. But why would you when you can basically make it a baby lancer? A baby lancer with like an Avenger Gatling cannon. So
yeah.
And apparently it's got like rocket boosters on its legs. So, yeah. And a rocket, and the lance is rocket powered as well. Maybe it does. Maybe it's just the lance that's rocket powered. I heard somebody saying it was rocket powered legs, but it looks like they're just the standard little like balancing pistons on the legs. But it is cool to have a new build of knight.
Mm-hmm. And I think it'll fit like a different role too, because if it is kind of like a baby lancer, then I could see this being like a faster, more scout type vehicle. So, you know, fill in a different role and kind of further flesh out that army. Related to this, Snipe and Wib just put out a codex compliant on the first Imperial Knights Codex, which had 1 kit and 2 data slates.
2 data slates and 7 pages of rules total.
Right.
I remember.
And it's like, oh, we have come so far in the last decade with Knights.
Yeah.
But I like having more options, and I think it looks. I just like the profile. I think there's that shot in the Warhammer community article where they show like the size comparison, the silhouettes of the armigers, this one, and then the Questoris Knights, and I just like the profile shapes. Like I think they do provide cool, unique silhouettes. So yeah, I like this.
I'm curious to see if we are going to have a Chaos Knight data, like faction pack update along with this as well, because I can't imagine they'll leave those out.
Yeah.
Did Chaos get an exact same version of this one?
That's what we're wondering. Like, will there be a data sheet of this in the Chaos Knight faction?
Not in a way, because Chaos already has specific knights that Imperial Knights do not have. So I like the idea that Imperial Knights finally get something that's theirs.
No, I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It also can mount a frag cannon instead of the Gatling gun. So yeah. Oh, sorry. It's not an Avenger Gatling cannon. It's a Chastizer Gatling cannon. It makes you feel bad for doing bad things.
I mean, that is
not for very long.
No. Well, you will feel real bad for a moment.
Honestly, that right there seals it that Chaos isn't getting this, because Chaos doesn't feel bad about anything.
This is true. That is true.
The Imperium has all the Catholic guilt. Chaos is just free and does whatever they want.
Let's see. And then alongside this, that is going to be in the Reign of Iron book. And when we last recorded, we didn't know anything about what was in that other than it's going to be Mechanicus versus Iron Warriors. Well, we now have some information about the Reign of Iron. It's Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron is the full title of it. So it's technically Eye of Terror, which, considering it has a subtitle, makes me think that we're going to have more Eye of Terror books later, just like we're probably going to have more 500 Worlds books later, because 500 Worlds was 500 Worlds Titus. So I imagine these are going to be a couple of ongoing campaigns throughout 11th edition, which would be cool. It'd be nice to have them instead of being one and dones. It'd be kind of like Vigilus was for like 8th edition and going into 9th. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping we see more of this, and especially the formats. It looks very similar to 500 Worlds and Maelstrom, in which case and by that I mean it's going to be like a 2 or 3 book set in a slipcase, which I was able to get a copy of Maelstrom, and I'm very glad to have a physical copy of it. And I absolutely want a physical copy of this because of one book in particular. And that is the Apocalypse book. We are getting Apocalypse rules for 10th edition now. At the very end of the edition, but we are getting it.
Yeah, because Apocalypse, I'll say the weird thing. Apocalypse is what got me into 40K after college. Well, maybe not Apocalypse in general, but you guys bought me the Apocalypse Windrider Host box of like 36 jet bikes. And that was because Apocalypse was a deal back then, because people needed to fill out their armies. And then it kind of went away, didn't have a lot of support, and the rules were hard to find. Then they brought it back with the new style where like a unit was like 1 wound, a big tank might be 3 wounds, and it made the game faster and playable, and so you could still play it with everything, and it felt epic, but still not unwieldy, because you could get a game done in the afternoon.
Which we did.
We did a
like
few
3 and 4 player games. Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot. So I'm curious as to what this Apocalypse is going to look like. Is it going to be just standard points? Is it going to be use the quick play type points? I don't know. I'm curious to see, but I know one downside of the previous one is they had like different detachments and different ways to build an army. And if you weren't familiar with that and you were just building a normal 40K army, that was a disconnect. Yes, I know.
Yeah, because that was kind of, like I built my army for the Apocalypse games and they didn't work out so well because
So I really did enjoy the last iteration of Apocalypse as well, but it was one of these one and done products, which was a shame because it was brand new data sheets, brand new rule set for everything. And it's not like they stopped producing models after that and called it a day. There were new things being rolled out, but they didn't make any Apocalypse rules for them. So the game was kind of frozen in time. Although I don't regret, and it was also had the weirdest looking movement trays of any game. Like, usually when you see movement trays, they're like in like rows. Normal organized mathematical rows. And the ones they sold specifically for 40K Apocalypse were all weird organic shapes that could hold 5 models, but didn't tessellate properly if you put them together. It was very weird. Also, it was a D12 based system, which was also a D6 and D12 based system, which was its own weird thing. I don't regret having that many D12s now. I bought the Apocalypse D12 set. I regret nothing. But I am sad that it just didn't get support, and especially as units started getting resized, even those movement trays stopped being useful for a lot of units because, these units are on 25, so I'll buy some 25 millimeter. I'll buy a box of 25 millimeter movement trays. Nope, it's on 28s now. Oh.
Yep.
And I hardly anything's on
multitask
25s anymore, and that was all that I bought back when Apocalypse came out. I just had 25 mil movement trays, and those don't do a whole lot of good anymore.
No,
and I know I double tasked on those because I use those 25 mils for both Apocalypse and for my Demonettes because at the time I was running a Demonette army, so it's sad to see all that go. But because I found them useful, but as you said, as everything upscaled, they're just sitting somewhere being plastic in a box, I think.
Yeah. So what we do know about this new iteration of Apocalypse is that they say, quote, a new set of rules brings classic large-scale Apocalypse games back to Warhammer 40,000 with a system of modular guidelines and adjustments that make it a breeze to run battles of epic proportions. These Apocalypse rules add all sorts of ways to streamline games and account for significantly larger army sizes with sections designed to be added or removed depending on how you like to play, unquote. That is fascinating to me. The idea that it's going to be a modular set of rules and you can decide, like, I imagine, and this is just me spitballing, I do not have access to the book. I do not know what it looks like, but I'm wondering if, like, hey, we're going to get rid, like, here's a module, get rid of wound rolls. Like, if you hit somebody, you wound them. Just to speed up like casualty taking or things like that. Or maybe they borrow something from, maybe they do that, but then they borrow something from the last version of Apocalypse where if you have that module in place, then you don't remove destroyed units till end of turn. So like everybody gets to shoot and then you pull all the models. I don't know what kinds of modules they're going to have in here. That is, again, that was just kind of like, hey, that would be kind of an interesting way to put it in. But the fact that they're letting you tailor your experience to how do you want to do Apocalypse? Do you want to do a big weekend long game where you're doing every roll and every save and things like that? Or do you want to make an Apocalypse game that you could get through maybe in an afternoon?
Well, they've got, I'm interested in what they do with this because they've got a template for how to do large scale 40K, well, 30K, I guess, combat with Imperialis, and right now, or with Legions Imperialis. So what are they going to take from that? Are they going to scale it up and do that just at a 40K level? Is it going to be something different and unique? Like, I don't know. It gives them some really interesting options.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. This is one, like, I was excited to see Crucible of Champions. This is another thing I am super excited for.
And it might be them hinting at in previous books, because I know my group here in Dallas has started up an Armageddon Crusade. And in that book, it even says, if you're doing not Armageddon, you can still include these things. Here's how you do it. And so it can be modular if you're building your own stuff of how you want to play the game. Just take these air quote modules out of like Apocalypse Armageddon and build what you want your story or your theme to be. Maybe Armageddon's going to be the same way of here's the base one, but here's all the modules of it so you can trim and tailor.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And just like having, I have wanted toolbox stuff like this for 40K, like all edition, and this is a dream to me. I'm hoping that the implementation is as good as I imagine, but I'm excited for this. I said that about Crucible of Champions, and I think I was rightly excited about this. I'm hoping that trend continues.
I'm right there with you on both counts.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we had a balanced data slate.
Did we?
Yeah.
I didn't really see anything in there.
Sorta, maybe, kinda, technically. I think with this being probably the last balance update of the edition, because I can't imagine we're going to have one in June. The June balance data slate will be 11th edition.
I mean, that will be a significant data slate.
It will be. It will be a complete rebalancing of the game.
And that's just
rules.
Our speculation. We have no firm.
Right. Yeah. No one has told. There's not been an official announcement of a new edition, but it's like I think they mentioned in that White Dwarf I quoted that we're like, in the past when we've done the end of an edition, we've done this. Well, this time we're doing something that is basically saying it's the end of an edition. Let's be honest here. But this balanced data slate, apart from a couple of changes to, like, some of the Necron rules changed to exclude monsters because Satan shards are too good right now. Like the new Satan shard data sheets where they don't have all damage, but they have they reduce all incoming damage by 1 and have feel no pain and such. Like, apparently that is, and the I think improved movement and toughness and wounds, like, they're terrifying. And so they updated a number of rules, including the stratagems in the Star Shatter arsenal, the Silent King's various abilities, and Necrosaur Amintar's ability now exclude monsters. So they do not make Satan better, which I think is fine because Satan are not technically Necrons, so they shouldn't be affected by things that affect Necrons. So I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Other than that, the other big rules change. Sanguinary priests can now join Blade Guard veterans.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the entire balanced data slate document. Other than that, some points changes, not a ton. Like, you can go through, like, Custodian Guard got slightly more expensive. Asserman got slightly more expensive. Rogel Dorn tanks got slightly more expensive. Crusader Squad, large Crusader Squads got slightly less expensive. Astrath for the Blood Angels got slightly less expensive. The 2 Lord of Change variants for Chaos Demons got more expensive because Scintillating Legion is apparently very good right now. Demon Prince of Nurgle with Wings got slightly cheaper. Hey. Drukhari had some points drops primarily for Homunculus Coven stuff because nobody's been taking it, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Emperor's Children got point drops for Flawless Blades, large Tormentor squads, because no one's been taking large Tormentor squads, and Chaos Terminators.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I'm thrilled by the Flawless Blades because I like using them, but I have a 1,000-point list, dropping it by 20. What do I do with that extra 20 points? I'm just going to run a not 1,000-point list now.
I mean, I'm assuming you've run out of enhancements that characters to put enhancements on.
I've used up my 1 enhancement because that's all you get in Crusade.
Fair enough. Yes, yeah, that's okay. Fair enough.
And then my create a character doesn't get an enhancement because they can't take them.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Brotherhood Terminators for Grey Knights all got cheaper, but not Paladins, just the regular battle line ones. If you splash in Inquisitors or Inquisitor Draxus into an Imperium army, those got more expensive. That was primarily to fix Custodes, apparently. That is the big thing. Draxus has been getting splashed into a lot of Custodes armies. Some Imperial Knights got cheaper because why not at this point?
You got to make room for the new space. for the new one.
I guess that's the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, the 10 points aren't going to be in. God, I hope the 10 points aren't enough to add a whole other night. Oh boy. Sorry. As soon as I started making that joke, I was like, oh no, they might do that.
They could.
Oh no.
The various Satan shards, as expected, got 10 points more expensive each. And all of their upgrades in the Pantheon of Woe, the detachment where it's oops, all Satan shards, they all went up by 15 points. So they're still going to be good. It's not going to be possibly maybe as broken. Lieutenant with combi weapon became more expensive for Space Marines, as did Redemptor Dreadnought, Repulsor Executioner, and the Wardens of Ultramar. Oh, and this was another interesting thing. 2 units got removed from the game. It was the non-Terminator Marneus Calgar, like the older Marneus Calgar, and the older like Victrix Bodyguard are just gone. And I think maybe the old Cato Sicarius also got removed.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's like they're just gone. They're not legended. They're just gone. They're no longer valid for the game, but they've been effectively replaced. So
they might get moved to legend, because I mean, I always felt
they explicitly were not.
Okay, because I was gonna say legends doesn't seem to get updated till like a week or two afterwards. But
no,
everything. They said they're not even putting them in legends, then wow.
Yeah, everything indicates that they're just gone. But it was basically, yeah, there's the new version, but we like the old version's rules better. So it's like, no, there is only the new version. The character has been updated.
Yeah, well, the character one I can understand, but the Victrix Bodyguard,
I think it was the combination of the two that was a problem.
Got it.
Let's see. Stealth battlesuits for Tau, the ones that got updated with the new Kill Team box, got cheaper. So like by 10 points. And oh, hey, World Eater's Forge Fiend, cheaper.
Woo-hoo.
Good job, Kevin.
By 5 points. That's going to make such a difference.
More DACA.
And there's a few other things in here that have been added. We'll get to them in a moment, because there are also new characters. We've been teasing new characters for a bit, like Barrack Stornbrow for the Leagues of Votan, the Berserker character, or the Twin Lance for the Tau, or the new.
She's so good.
The new Tyranid Prime with a Lash Whip.
Who cares?
Wow.
Richard cares.
Okay, because I talked to the Tyranid players here, and they're like, it can't lead anything we care about, so we don't care.
That's fair. Like I still like the Oops All Warriors detachment, but
okay, that would be probably the one place it would shine.
So let's go ahead and, in fact, these all went up for pre-order yesterday. So let's go ahead. And one of them's already
sold out.
Yeah, one of them's already sold out, but we're not going to get to him. We're going to start with the one you don't care about, Dennis, because you brought it up, the Tyranid Prime with a Lash Whip. I mean, we've seen the model, big old tongue out, getting ready to whip somebody. Looks nice. It's nice to see another Tyranid Prime character. Stat line wise, he's fast, 10 inches of movement, tough 5, 3-up save, 6 wounds. I mean, it's nothing all that unusual for a Tyranid character. I mean, they don't really have, like, he's not a monster. He's still infantry. He's all melee options, obviously. Although I was surprised he doesn't have any of them with extra attacks. That it's all, you have to pick one of the 3 when you fight.
Yeah, that's a little weird to me, but well, I'm not actually really particularly planning on getting this model, just because I have models that I ran as primes before that were slightly converted to make them stand out from the other warriors. So I have got Lash Whip variants that I can just use as primes now.
Right.
Nice.
And as far as what he can lead, he is limited to Hormagaunts, Termagants, and the 2 varieties of warriors, melee and ranged bioweapons. When he's leading a unit, they all get sustained hits 1, or actually everybody in his unit, not just when he's leading. So his weapons do have sustained hits 1 naturally too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then on top of that, he gives your unit reactive surge moves. So like when they lose a model and when someone shoots at them, they get to make a D6-inch surge move that can get them in engagement range, which is not bad.
Which, I think can be kind of scary for, a big mob of Wormagons running at you.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a terrible data sheet. Point-wise, it is 85 points, which is 20 points more than the Winged Tyranid Prime.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, he does move. I really do think he's meant to lead Hormagaunts because he moves as fast as they do.
Yeah.
The only unit that, I think that's kind of what he's intended to do, but like the Winged Tyranid Prime, it can't join Hormagaunts. So I think it's like this character is meant to join Hormagaunts. Obviously, that's kind of what it's there for.
Yeah, the winged variety can join just warrior units and gargoyles.
Right. So I don't hate it. I do think 85 is too expensive for it. I think it should be the same cost as the Tyranid Prime. Maybe 75 instead of 65 if you had to have it higher cost. I imagine if we do get a pass on balance, which again, I don't know if we will because edition change, but I think he's a little overcosted for what he does anyway.
Yeah.
But for having another character option for the Oops All Warriors detachment, that is nice to have. So I don't hate it. I just think it could be better. All right, let's move to the one that did sell out, and that would be Barrack Stornbrow for the Leagues of Votann. I guess supplies were a little short. Sorry, had to do the bad joke.
I mean, he's, I think, what we wanted Burry to be. I mean, he is just a beast in combat. I mean, and also because he's got the Berserker stats, he's pretty tough because he's got...
Yeah, I mean, T6...
Yeah, but 6 movement, that's a lot for Votann.
That's huge.
And he's got the 5-up save, 5-up invulnerable, but he's also got that feel no pain 4-up that they have. And unlike a Berserker that has 1 wound, he has 5. So he's going to survive to at least get his swings in.
Yeah, I mean... He may be using the rest of the Berserkers or the rest of the Berserks as blood bags, basically, as ancillary wounds. But
if they get there, he gives the whole unit sustained hit 1, including himself. So just like the Tyrannid, a full squad of Berserks with him, if they get there, that's even more attacks, and they'd still get it if they fight on death. So unfortunately, with their weakness is bullets. So if you just shoot them a lot ahead of time, they won't get there.
Bullets, my one weakness.
Yeah, I know. And then what I think unlike Burry, who had precision and I think he was not much damage. He's got 4 swings, strength 10, AP -2 at 4 damage each, with anti-monster, anti-vehicle, and sustain 1.
Yeah, he's going to absolutely wreck big things.
Yeah, and Burry was supposed to be that because he's like a Tyranid hunter. I mean, he's got Tyranid armor on his blade, but he can't kill a big Tyranid. This guy can kill a big Tyranid, probably even without his support squad. And then in addition to his big weapon, his gauntlets are extra attacks. So there's 2 more attacks. I mean, they're only 1 damage, but still,
extra.
Exactly. So I mean, he fits 2 roles that Votann desperately need. Is 1, a leader for Berserks. I kind of still wish we had a generic guy somewhere, which you get in Crucible of Champions, but having a name guy is really cool. And then the fact that he can probably single-handedly take out big things is something that Votann lack in melee.
Yeah.
I mean, their vehicles can do it quite easily, but in melee, this is the first guy.
Can they? That's not been my experience.
Well, the thing is, he can both single-handedly take out a big thing. He can also single-handedly take out squads because he's got a sweep version of his.
Yep.
True.
Because his hammer is a combination graviton hammer and plasma pick. So he can just sweep with the pick side, and he's got 8 attacks doing 2 damage each at strength 7 AP2. So that plus sustained hits 1. Yeah, he can chew through a squad of Marines as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If rest of his squad doesn't get him first.
Right. He's what you
want. He's what you want a special character to do. Like he fits in with several units, but he does very unique things that only he brings to the table. And he's going to be a centerpiece for your army. So
yeah, and he's also anti-orc. Look at that. Oh,
I mean,
he doesn't have an anti-orc rule, but I think they're kind of trying to get away from those kinds of very specific, only good
I
against
know,
one.
but his model definitely is anti-orc.
yeah.
I wonder if people are going to like get different heads or helmets from other factions and
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. People are going to do that. He is 110 points.
Worth it.
To compare that, he's 15 more points than Burry.
No, absolutely worth it.
yeah.
And then we've got one other unit that has been released, one other character unit that went up for pre-order. We'd seen them during like the preview near the beginning of the year, and that was the Twin Lance for the Tau Empire. We can't use Farsight anymore because he's gone against us, so the Empire is going to, well, not really gone against us, he just isn't listening to the Ethereals. So we've decided to train 2 new experts in the Montka and unleash them upon the enemy. So you have Relantar and Relokai, who were originally part of a thruple, but one of them got killed, and they've just made them very angry. And yeah, they have quite the stat lines. So they are equipped as a single unit of 2. They are a pair of epic heroes. Each one has a gun drone attached. But more importantly, one has a fusion eliminator and one has an ion scattergun, and then they both also have pistols attached. Stat line is pretty solid at 10 movement, which makes them pretty speedy crisis suit commanders. T6 with a 4-up invulnerable save and 8 wounds each, with basically a 2-up 4-up save with 8 wounds at T6. They're not bad. They are vehicle walkers, so Barrack will beat the crap out of them possibly, but
But that's 16 wounds to chew through then.
that's 16 wounds to chew through. They deep strike. They also have scout 8 inches, so they can get quite up ahead on the board. They have the Exemplars of Montka rule, which anytime they make a ranged attack against the closest target, they get sustained hits 1 and ignores cover, which means they don't need marker light support.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they are excellent for providing spotting support, because they will automatically, they already hit on 2s, so they can just spot for somebody and then shoot somebody else and still have ignores cover, as long as it's the closest thing. And their weapons max out at like 18-inch range, so that's kind of where they're going to be. Also, at the start of your opponent's charge phase, they can pick one enemy unit that's not a monster or vehicle within 12, and then the target that is charging them must make a battle shock test, and regardless of whether they fail or not, subtract 1 for their charge rolls. So they are also harder to charge.
I'll send the land fortress. That can tank shock them.
That can tank shock them. They can't do much about that. However, you probably still won't tank shock them to death.
Oh, heck no. Because it caps at 6.
Right. During the fight phase, they can either make a normal move of up to 6 inches if they're not engaged, or they can make a full fallback move of 10.
Okay, that's impressive.
Right.
Move, shoot, move.
And then what's interesting is they do not technically, quote unquote, have melee weapons. They don't have a big ass sword the way that Farsight does. Instead, they just have their guns, but they do not need the big guns never tire rule, although they can definitely use it in the shooting phase. And they're weapons that you have Relantar, who has the fusion eliminator, which is an 18-inch Melta-2 gun, but more importantly, it's a strength 10 Melta-2 gun, not a strength 9 Melta-2 gun. But in close combat, that becomes a melee weapon. It's only one shot, but it's strength 10, AP minus 4, D6 plus 2 damage. The Melta damage is already factored in. And that is technically extra attacks. Their primary melee weapon is their pistol, which has 4 shots at strength 6, AP minus 1, 2 damage.
They brought the fusion blades back. They did bring
yeah,
back.
It is yep. And so that was Relantar. So then there's Relokai, who has an ion scattergun, which has 2 modes of fire. You either have the normal mode, rapid fire 2, 18-inch, strength 7, AP minus 2, 2 damage with 4 attacks. Or you can overcharge it, which makes it hazardous, but it goes up to strength 8, AP minus 3, 3 damage. So also very effective at killing elite, like Marines and elites. But in close combat, that is just extra attacks for Relokai at strength 7 AP -2, 2 damage for extra attacks. And again, the pulse pistol. So yes, it's like the guns are effectively melee weapons as well. They've got a really good stat line. They've got like good movement, jump, shoot, jump, like awesome firepower. They're very mobile. Can't pin them down really. The one downside I see on this unit is that it cannot join any units. It cannot lead anything, which means they're going to get picked up because they also don't have lone op.
I'm going to say I don't see that as too much of a problem because I'm viewing them more as like a Dreadnought or Wraithlord equivalent, which can't join anything, but is super tough. And if you don't take it out, it's going to take you out. And also, if the opponent is focusing on them, your other squads are either getting in closer, getting position. So the worst case, they're a distraction Carnifex.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll say is they are as tough as a crisis suit unit, so they're not particularly tough, but they've got a lot of wounds. So they are going to take some, like, they're going to require some consistent firepower to take them out. So
and that 4-up invuln save can do some work.
Yes, yeah. So having two of them together, like, definitely makes it stronger. It would be nice if you could drop them into a unit of crisis suits, and make a big blob, but I also understand that would be a bit much.
Yeah, it probably would be.
I like them. I like them as a pair. I think they're going to work really well. We've already seen anecdotally on the internet people complaining about how good they are. So yeah, I like them. I specifically like that they're doing the thing that was the XV9 suits that used to be like the Forge World ones.
Yeah.
Where they were like, oh, these are your up close finger quotes melee Tau suits that just did a bunch of short range shooting. And like, that's what these are too. It's like, okay, you can get up close. If you get into melee, you can use your guns as melee weapons. So it's a way to like, yeah, they're just so good. They can shoot the fusion eliminator or the scatter gun in melee as a melee attack, but they're not melee. Like, I don't know. I just really like that. I think it's a really good solution to make it so that they're not going to immediately die in melee without changing fundamental things about the Tau of like, oh, these guys all have dual Farsight blades because they're so cool. It's like, no, they're still Tau, but they're doing it in a very unique way where they're not going to immediately just fold in combat. So
yeah. No,
I like it.
I do like them. I have concerns about their survivability, but yeah, Dennis, you did bring up a good point that it is, if you're focusing on them, you're not focusing on everything else, but you do need to focus on them because they will make your day very unhappy.
Yeah, even in melee, which has been Tau's weakness, those guns, yeah, it's going to hurt. And then they just fall back and do whatever they want. Yeah, they're
Heck yeah.
And the models look cool. So, I mean, I don't see any downsides on these two.
I also like that there's a little detail here on the model of they share a bonding knife. One of them has the hilt and the top of the blade, and the blade is broken, and the other one has the bottom of the blade, like mounted on the thigh of their suits.
Okay,
that's
that is
why I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's a nice little visual note that, yeah, these two characters are related. And it's very possible that was the bonding knife carried by the third member of their throuple. So
sure.
But now points wise, they come in at 160.
That's fair. That's strong.
Yeah, I was looking at the Goonhammer balanced data slate review, and they said, so Tau lists are now 1840 points because you will have 160 points of Twin Lance. If you are doing it, if you want to take a 2,000 point list, you're doing it wrong. 160 points is a pretty aggressive point total for them. I will say, however, they are an expensive set at $111 for the pair of them.
What is a normal crisis suit commander?
I don't
65. 65. So actually, like, they are
on par.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, models are too expensive, but it's not as bad as it appears at first, although, yeah.
It's just a shock looking at that price tag when you're used to like a $60 to $80 kit.
If like model wise, they feel like they should be like the two of them together should be an $80 to $90 kit.
Back when crisis suits were 40.
Well, and I think it's also a hard sell for 4 models, 2 of which are drones and don't technically need to be on the table.
Yeah.
When you have like the Lords of the Maelstrom box for Huron Blackheart and his crew, that is 90, and that was like 7 models. Now, granted, they are smaller models than the crisis suits, but it is still a hard sell
No, I'm
for
with you
like
there.
2 models. So yeah, but as we said, this game is getting, well, I mean, we were talking before recording, everything's getting expensive these days. So,
And I don't have
like,
a solution for that.
I will say, and I'm not saying I necessarily endorse this for legal reasons, but I do know that as soon as these models were revealed, people had already sculpted STLs of them.
Wow.
I have a feeling you're going to see 3D printed proxies of these in a lot of armies. Now, they haven't sold out yet, unlike Barrack Stormbrow, and I think the price point might be making some people hold off.
I could see that because I know when you saw that, you mentioned it, and then I saw other people echo that of if it was like 90, sure, 110's a little. Once you cross that like $100 threshold, it seems people are less likely to dip in.
Yeah, it's a hard ask. It's a real hard ask. I mean, to compare the Tyranid Prime with Lash Whip is $4,350, which is still a little bit of an ask for that, but okay, fine, whatever. Barrack Stormbrow is $47 for 1 model, for 1 character model.
Yeah, characters have been around 40, so this is them kind of pushing it a little higher because
Yeah, and
I'll still try and get them though.
yeah, to compare, they also released Prince Iriel and Karseth from the Elder Traders box separately for pre-order. Karseth is $4,350, Prince Iriel is $47.
So Uriel and Votan are the same.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they put Karseth in a combat patrol for Eldari Corsairs, and that is $170. Like all combat patrols are. And they are limited edition combat patrols, which I mean, I understand they're basically non-holiday bundles.
Sounds that way.
Well, and every single one of them, the Kroot Combat Patrol, the Corsairs Combat Patrol, the Red Corsairs Combat Patrol, and the Night Lords Combat Patrol, which is now sold out online, you cannot get it anymore, are all kill teams with extra things added to them. So it's their chance to transition some of those kill teams out of kill team only and into standard 40K because they're rotating out of kill team. And so, yeah, those are all the new models and data sheets and the balance update for what it is for this week and this month and coming in near the end of the edition. But we have more to talk about because something we didn't talk about in our Maelstrom coverage was the various detachments in that. And we wanted to take a chance to go over those. So we're going to do that after the break. But first, we are supported by sponsors and ads. So we're going to take a break for our sponsorships. But if you don't like ads, or if you want to support the show directly and happen to get an ad-free feed in exchange, there are 3 good ways to support us. The first one is our Patreon. We are patreon.com/preferred enemies, and that is where you can get access to the ad-free version of the show. We basically have an online tip jar. If you subscribe to our Patreon, it's $1 a month, and you get access to the ad-free version of the show. You get access to our Discord, which is a lovely community. You get access to any unique special game supplements we have built, such as our upgrade for Urban Conquest for 10th edition. And you also just get the joy of knowing that you have helped support the show. And again, $1 a month does not seem like a lot, but when enough people do it, it adds up and really helps support things like paying for our recording services, helping us buy new audio equipment, which sounds like we might have to do for Kevin sooner rather than later. So thank you very much for that. And eventually help us start traveling to events once again. So again, that's patreon.com/preferred enemies. Second is YouTube. We are at youtube.com/@preferred enemies. And these are basically the video versions of the audio show. They go up about a week after the audio release. And again, if just do the standard YouTube things like subscribe, ring the bell, comment, interact with it just to help make it more attractive to the algorithm and get in front of more people. Third is we have a merch store at preferredenemies.com/merch, and you can buy hats, shirts, magnets, mugs, all kinds of Preferred Enemies branded stuff. So if you want to help rep the show, get our stuff out there in the wild, we'd love to see it. That's all available at preferredenemies.com/merch. So we're going to go ahead and take a break for sponsor identification. And when we come back, it'll be time to look at the 6 detachments in Lair of the Tyrant. See you in a bit. And we're back, and that means it's time to dig into the rest of the show, which is the 6 detachments in Lair of the Tyrant. And this one is kind of good to go over because it's got a little bit of something for all of us. Whereas other books have had, like 500 Worlds had more Necron stuff and Space Marine stuff, which is nice and all, but it's not really us necessarily. Those aren't factions we really, especially very Ultramarine Space Marines. We don't really play those detachments, and we don't really play Necrons. Although I do want to announce that Necrons are going to be the raffle army at Midwest Conquest this year. If you go to midwestconquest.com to sign up for the various events, you will be there on site and be able to buy raffle tickets to win a Necron army, including a Satan Shard of the Nightbringer, which I painted up recently as part of the release of that model. It is currently on a display case in my friendly local game store, but it will be going home with one special winner of the raffle, along with the rest of the Necron army to help support it, which I will be beginning painting on probably in the next week or so. So if you want a chance to do that, again, midwestconquest.com. Memorial Day weekend in Kansas City, we've got a narrative 40K event, a grand tournament 40K event. There's Age of Sigmar. We've got a Warhammer The Old World event this year. There's a bolt action tournament. The only thing we don't have is Beer Hammer because we are hosted at a high school this year. No alcohol on the premises. Sorry. But we look forward to seeing people there, and we look forward to someone winning the Necron army that I'm going to be working on this year. But anyway, getting back to the factions that have detachments in Lair of the Tyrant. There are 4 factions: Chaos Space Marines, Eldari, Orcs, and Leagues of Votann, which I think between the 4 of us, we play all of those. So time for us to kind of weigh in on these. And we'll start off, we'll just kind of work through them in order of the book. And all of these are also available in the various faction packs on the Warhammer community website. So Chaos Space Marines, Eldari, Orc, and Leagues of Votann faction packs have these detachments as well. And again, this is one reason why I'm saying...
Well, Rob, one other thing, they're already in the app.
Yes, they are in the app. This is one of the reasons why I said last episode, I think they're kind of laying the groundwork for maybe moving more things to just being freely available digitally.
I hope so.
Like having a print counterpart, perhaps.
I like that they're free for everyone to use, but I like this very thin slip thing that's like, what, 12 pages?
Yeah, 14, but yeah.
I mean, it gives me like a 1 page or 2 page, but I mean, a spread page that I could just glance at it, look, see everything like you can in like a codex or a book where you've got the detachment on the 2 pages. Because I'll be honest, I find this easier to kind of glance over than having to open up every enhancement and every stratagem, because they're not all opened up at the start. So
yeah,
I like both. So I'm glad we get both.
Yeah, options are good. Having more options, more easily available, that accessibility makes the game more available for everyone. So I'm all for it, and I hope to see more of it. So we'll start off with Chaos Space Marines, and the first one are Huron's Marauders. These are specifically for playing the Red Corsairs, although while they don't use a Red Corsairs keyword, some of the rules do specifically mention like Huron Blackheart. So, or at least one of the rules do. So it is definitely tailored towards playing the Red Corsairs. Your detachment rule is Tyrannical Motivation. In your command phase, select one of the following abilities. Until the start of your next command phase, each Heretic Astartes infantry unit from your army has that ability. At the start of each phase, if the unit is visible to a friendly Huron Blackheart model, until the end of the phase, it has both of the following abilities. So all your infantry units get one of them. If Huron Blackheart can see you, if he has line of sight to you, you have all of them. Oh, there's only 2. But one is Huron's Elite. You add 1 to your hit roll every time you attack, which +1 to hit, always good. And then Mobile Marauders, shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which you fell back. I mean, that's all very, very useful. Your enhancements, Voice of the Tyrant, Heretic model, Astartes models, except for Damned. And I think all of these, except for the very last one, say no Damned, so no like Traitor Guardsmen or Cultists. The Bears unit has both abilities from Tyrannical Motivation, so even if Huron Blackheart's not there, you have access to both of them.
Fair.
Raid Leader, each time the Bears unit is set up after disembarking from a transport that made a normal move this turn, you can still charge, so everything's got assault ramps. Yeah, rhinos with assault ramps, baby. Dread Reputation, each time the Bears unit is set up on the battlefield, each enemy unit within 6 inches of the Bears unit, or 12 if they were deep struck, takes a Battle Shock test. Which that and like a Terminator Lord, and drop in a squad of Terminators or Raptors, like Raptors and a Chaos Lord on a jump pack could be really good. And then Eager for Bloodshed, which can go on Damned, which would basically be Dark Commune. I think would be the only one that would matter on. The Bear has Infiltrators. Cool.
It's good ability.
Nice.
Yeah. And then your strats, Hardened Killers for command point. A Damned unit in your army can either improve the ballistic skill of all their ranged weapons by 1, improve the attacks of rapid fire weapons by 1, or improve the save characteristic of models in the unit by 1. So basically, I'm thinking, since they were in the box set, I'm thinking Traitor Guardsmen here. And okay, yeah, Traitor Guardsmen hitting on 3s or with extra. Basically, it's orders, more or less,
Kind of is,
for a command point. Not bad. Don't hate it. At the Tyrant's command for command point in your movement phase, select a non-monster or vehicle unit from your army. Until the end of your turn, they can shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which they advanced, which they've already got access to doing it when they fell back. Now they can do it when they advance. Seize the prize in your movement phase just after a Heretic Astartes unit that isn't monsters or vehicles has been selected to advance. You auto-advance 6, which, again, always useful.
That's useful, yeah.
Reaver's Flurry in your fight phase. One of your units that made a charge move this turn adds +1 to their attack to all their melee weapons. To the Favored the Spoils in your opponent's shooting phase for a command point. After an enemy unit has shot and you lost 1 or more models from that unit, you get a D6-inch surge move.
Just wounds. You don't have to lose models.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just 1 or more wounds. So since your Marines are going to be 2 wounds, yeah. So if they even wound you, you surge them. And then Encircling Surge at the end of your opponent's fight phase, you can take a non-monster vehicle that's not in engagement range within 6 inches of the table edge and put them in reserves. All of these are useful strats. Like, there's not a bad one in the bunch. This is just a good generalist detachment.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice variation of, like, it's not going to play exactly the same as, like, Veterans of the Long War, but it is also, other than being specifically focusing on, hey, you want Huron Blackheart on the table so you can maximize your, and you want him visible to everybody so you can maximize your abilities. It's good. This would be decent even without Huron Blackheart. Definitely better with him, but still good without. On the other hand, we have something very different. The Renegade Warband. We have wanted a Chaos Renegades detachment that is not so chaosy, and we are finally getting our wish.
Yeah.
So the detachment rule is slaves to none. You lose dark pacts. You cannot beseech the dark gods for support. Also, this has been updated with errata with the balanced data slate to include you can't take cult troops with it either, which makes sense.
Aw.
Sorry.
Can't take my renegade berserkers?
No, you cannot. But I think that's also very
But they're neutral.
fair.
But they're neutral. They're not corn. They're not corn dedicated. They're just regular berserk. Sorry, go on.
I say corn in the name.
I think the most interesting thing about this is like the first time I recall seeing like a detachment negate an army rule.
Yeah, like basically this is, you have access to these data sheets, but you don't have this rule, which does mean some of the stuff in the codex is not going to work great for you because there are units that specifically key off of having dark packs.
Right.
Which is, again, it's going to force you to play differently. Yeah, it's a trade-off. But you don't give up, like, just because you gave that up, you do get other things. For example, all your ranged weapons have assault. So this is going to be a very mobile army because you're going to be constantly advancing. There's no reason not to unless you're trying to charge. But you also have a couple of other rules. You have Vendetta. This is going to sound real familiar in a minute. At the start of your command phase, select one unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of your next command phase, that enemy unit is your Vendetta target. Each time one of your models that's not damned makes an attack that targets the Vendetta target, you re-roll the hit roll. It's Oath of Moment. You just gave your army Oath of Moment.
No, Oath of Moment's not a Vendetta target. These are completely different.
It's mechanically the same. And then on top of that, Twisted Doctrine. In your movement phase, each time you set up or select a non-battle shocked Astartes unit from your army, it can choose to default to Doctrine. If it does, it must first take a battle shock test. Then, whether it passes or not, you select one of the following: shoot and declare a charge after falling back, or charging after advancing. So you get a form of
Doctrines,
like Codex Doctrines, and you get Oath of Moment. You're basically playing regular Space Marines with Chaos Space Marine units.
Yeah.
Cool with that.
You're actually Chaos Space Marines.
Yes.
You mean Dark Angels?
No.
I mean, not wrong.
I mean, is there a way to mimic the Chaos units with Dark Angel units?
Especially if you're using like
Chosen.
Yeah. Make Cypher your leader and call this a fallen detachment.
Absolutely. This would be a great way to play the Fallen, honestly. So you've got your enhancements or weaponized hatred, which basically says once per battle round after your Vendetta's target is destroyed, if the person with this enhancement is on the battlefield, select somebody who you have line of sight to, they're the new Vendetta target. So you can just pass your Oath of Moment to the next target.
Don't Ultramarines already have that?
Yes, but these aren't Ultramarines.
Look at me. You're the Vendetta now.
Eyes of the Hunter. Your ranged weapon. The unit's ranged weapons have ignore cover. Okay, cool. Fratricidal trophies. Terminator model only. In a turn in which the bear's unit chose to default to Doctrine, until the end of the turn, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. That is important.
Interesting.
Well, and that's important because let me bring up the data sheet for Chaos Terminators, but they key off of Dark Packs.
Yes. Yeah.
So by not having Dark Packs, their ability stops working. So this basically says, hey, while you have a Terminator Lord leading a unit, they're going to effectively get the same thing because let's see, Chaos Terminator Squad. Yeah, each time this unit makes a Dark Pact until the end of the phase, they can re-roll hit rolls. This basically, as long as you have a Terminator Lord you can attach this to, then that unit will still have the same thing. It just default to Doctrine instead of Dark Pact.
Okay.
Which also, if you fail the default to Doctrine battle shock test, you still get the ability, and this doesn't matter whether you pass it or not. You do give up the ability to use stratagems and objective if you fail, but unlike a Dark Pact, you don't take mortal wounds and risk losing a Terminator.
That's because you're just going to Doctrine, not going to a Dark God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Empiric Symbiote, add 1 to your advance and charge rolls for the unit, which that's just good.
Solid.
I don't know anyone who likes charging, though.
No.
You, Kevin?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, honestly, of these enhancements, like the weaponized hatred, I think is a must take because you want to keep your oath going. I think Empiric Symbiote is good just for anything.
Yeah.
And then Eyes of the Hunter is fine. And then Fratricidal Trophies only matters if you're taking a Terminator Lord. But otherwise, they're decent. They're good. Your strats, never outgunned in your shooting or fight phase. Select an unit from your army that has been selected to shoot or fight. They get lethal hits or sustained hits. So for a command point, you get the effect of Dark Packs without the penalty. Vengeful Destruction. In your shooting or fight phase, select a non-damned infantry or mounted unit, and if they're targeting a vendetta target, add 1 to the wound roll. It's the other half of Oath of Moment that most armies don't get. Undying Hatred. In the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, and one of them was one of your units, 4-up Fight on Death, which is always useful. It is a 4-up, so it does only cost 1 command point. Renegade Claim. In your movement phase, after you moved within range of an objective marker, it's sticky.
Nice.
And that's any unit in your army. Corrupted Munitions. In your shooting phase, improve the AP of one of your units by 1 with ranged attacks. And then Reaver's Reaction. When someone shoots at you and they hit you, and it's as long as it's not a monster or vehicle, but they hit one of your units, doesn't matter if they wounded or not, you get a free D6-inch normal move, which it's fine. It's good. But this is a detachment. Like, I've been playing a lot of like Demon Engines and Vashtor, and we'll have to see how that would work necessarily with this, because I also tend to use like a lot of cultists. But I'm interested in playing this as an option as well. Like, this one just seems like it'll play differently. The only thing I wish is that it could have access to some other Space Marine things, but I'll take what I can get for right now.
Like the Desolation guys?
No.
They could give these guys the Stalker and Hunter.
And that's where they all went. The Renegades
they all fell to chaos. Yeah,
they
made bad decisions and took them. But no, honestly, I like Huron's Marauders isn't just an interesting alternative build. The Renegade Warband is like you said, Dennis, it's one of the first times we've seen somebody just give up their army ability, just entirely, not alter it, not rewrite it, just be like, no, we're not using the army ability. We're going to do something different. And
they also have other rules to make up for it, unlike Imperial Agents. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
we gave it up, but there's actually something we get back.
Yeah. Moving on, now let's switch over to the Eldari, who also have a pair of detachments. We have the Eldritch Raiders themselves, which is specifically Iriel's detachment, and is interesting for one thing. I think this is the first time we've seen an enhancement that can go on a named character.
Yep.
That other than like the ones where it's like you are forced to take it, you have to take that enhancement.
Well,
if you don't.
And the other half of this is you also get enhancements for units as well in this detachment.
Right.
So neither of those have really happened in the past. Well, here they both are.
We're really starting to play with detachment design here, which I think is cool. It's something we like. I don't want to say they've been playing it safe, but I think like now that we've got all the factions kind of like their baseline detachments set up, and we've seen a number of patterns over and over again in those detachments. Now we're starting to play around with it. And I'm hoping this continues on with 11th edition if they do keep like the detachment system, which I can't imagine they would get rid of it. I hope they don't. I like it. We're starting to see some playing around with patterns and trying some new things. So the detachment rule is Iriel's own. Eldari units in your army are eligible to charge in a turn which they advanced. And in addition, Onwraith, which are Corsair units, Rangers or Shroud Runners re-roll their advance rolls.
I like part of that. I mean, theme-wise, I like it all, but your Rangers, you don't want advancing because then they lose their heavy on their sniper rifles.
But see, they can re-roll their advance and then charge. The thing you do with Rangers.
Yeah.
No. If a Ranger gets into melee, they're dead.
ABC always be charging.
No. Shroud Runners I can see because I believe their gun is assault. So, their non-sniper rifle is assault. So
the argument I would make there for the benefits is that you could redeploy them easily. Like that's really kind of, yeah, like repositioning them to like move them quicker. Yeah, you're giving up a turn of shooting or blunting shooting, but you can reposition them. So that's kind of the benefit, although that's kind of,
Yeah, no, I like it for the Unwrath units.
Yeah.
It's fine there. It's just, but I know the Rangers and Shroud Runners were included because they are also kind of considered part of the outcast class, so that's why they're here.
I mean, yeah, it like, again, it's one of those, like, this is thematically makes sense, even if it's not something you would necessarily
Only one of the units
want
will
to do.
really benefit.
Right. And let's also keep in mind that, or no, I guess Corsairs do still have battle focus. They're not like, they didn't give that up. So
Nope.
And then your other rule is each time you add an Enreth unit to your army, it can be given one of the Corsair enhancements, which are the 4 enhancements in this detachment. Each enhancement must be unique. If it's given a Corsair enhancement, you increase its points. It's the same kind of thing we see on like the Assassins or the Satan Shards and those detachments, where it's like, if you take this, you just increase the cost of the unit, just like you would with a character. It's just they're putting it in here because non-character units don't normally do this. And if it does go over your army points, you can't include the unit. So don't do the thing that mathematically you're not allowed to do. But all of these are, or well, I should say 3 of these are Anrath. One of them is Iriel, who we also have a new data sheet for him, which I suppose we should mention, even though I guess he would, I mean, the data sheet for him technically came out with the Elder Traders box.
Yes.
But we should mention that we do have, like, we have the new characters for them as well. And I suppose we should talk about what, like, some of the new units do. Because we obviously have the new Iriel, who isn't, while storyline wise, still technically cursed, no longer cursed as a unit.
Yeah.
In fact, every time when he's leading a unit, they get sustained hits 1 and +1 to hit, which didn't need that, I don't think. And after both players have deployed their armies, he gets to do the redeploy up to 3 units, as long as he or a transport he's within are on the battlefield.
Yeah, but 3 units is huge, especially if you look at Maelstrom. You might have max 6, 7. So you're redeploying like half of your army. So that's huge. Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing you have to remember with these. Like, we're talking about these detachments. And yes, you could use these detachments in 2,000-point games, and they'd totally be fine.
I mean, 3 units is still good there.
Yeah, but these detachments were included in a set that is built around 1,000-point games. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Like, yeah, in a 1,000-point game, this is a gigantic ability. And otherwise, he doesn't, like I said, he's not cursed anymore. He doesn't have to reroll successful saves. Was that the old curse?
Right. And all his weapons are assault, so you can advance with him and still shoot his pistols.
Yep.
And his melee weapon is strong, with doing like AP -3 damage each for 5 swings, hitting on 2s.
5 swings, hitting on 2, strength 7, and with lance.
Yep.
So yeah, he's definitely getting work done. And then Karseth, the his Psyker companion, is fine. Can't set up reserves within 12 inches of him, or specifically 12 inches of this model. So even if he's leading a Corsair unit, it's still just you measure from the model, not from the unit edge. And then Fury of the Void. After this model's unit has shot, select one enemy unit hit by one of his range attack is like a psychic ability. And basically, every time it tags the unit, and everybody is +1 strength against that unit that he hit. Which it's a 24-inch anti-infantry 2-up blast, ignore cover, hazardous psychic attack with D6 +2 attacks. And again, he just has to hit them. He doesn't even have to necessarily wound them, although he's going to be wounding infantry on 2s, and it's AP 2-1 damage. Might, tear up a lighter unit, put some wounds on Marines, but then everybody is +1 strength, which that's never a bad thing.
It's kind of needed for this.
Yeah. So those are the 2 new characters with this. But yeah, so your enhancements. Iriel gets an enhancement, the Pirate Prince, which, by the way, the Pirate Prince one is 15 points, and Iriel himself is 95. So this gets him up to 110 if you add this. But each time you spend a battle focus token to enable this unit to perform a maneuver, roll a d6 on a 3-up, you get a battle focus token.
Sheesh. So you can make it free.
Yeah, you've got a 2 and 3 chance of making it free. Alacritous Assault for any Anrath unit. Melee weapons equipped by models in the unit have lance.
Useful.
Yep. And this army always wants to be advancing and charging. Exotic munitions. Ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have anti-monster, anti-vehicle 5-up.
Nice, but I'd rather see 4s, but 5s are okay.
And then adrenal infusions, Anrath infantry unit only, which couldn't put it on a Starfang. I think that would be the one limitation here. But you could put the exotic munitions on a Starfang if you wanted.
That might not be bad.
Yeah. So Anrath infantry unit only on adrenal infusions, I guess because vehicles don't have adrenal glands. Fair. The unit can perform the fade back agile maneuver without spending a battle focus token to do so. It can do so even if other units have done so in the same phase, and doing so does not prevent other units performing the same maneuver in this phase. So they get just
useful.
free fade back.
That's useful.
Yeah. And then your strats, Raider spoils, these are all pretty much going to target Anrath units, or in some cases, very specific units. Raider spoils, one Anrath unit from your army in your command phase is within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Add +1 to your OC. So I'm on the objective. It's mine. I don't care if you're here. It's mine. Ruthless killers in your shooting or fight phase, you target one specifically Corsair Void Scarred unit that is not select or that's not been selected to shoot or fight. Each time they make an attack, add 1 to their damage, which that's just solid.
Yeah.
Uriel's example, in the fight phase just after an enemy unit is selected as targets, select one Eldari infantry that is not a Wraith construct that was selected as the target or one or more of the attacks. They get 5-up, feel no pain.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Until the end of the phase. But only in the fight phase. It only works in the fight phase.
Well, that's fine. It's still cool.
No prey too big in your shooting phase. Select an Anrath Rangers or Shroud Runners unit that has not been selected to shoot yet. Until the end of the phase, if your strength is less than the highest toughness of models in the target unit, add 1 to the wound roll.
So anti-transhuman.
It's anti-transhuman physiology, yes. Which that is also very useful.
Oh, yeah, because there are a lot of them strength 4 guns, so.
Yeah. Impending fire in the start of your opponent's charge phase. Select a Ranger, Shroud Runners, or Starfang unit from your army. Then select an enemy unit not Titanic, visible to and within 36 inches of your units select a non-Titanic enemy unit visible to and within 36 inches of your unit until the end of the phase. Each time that unit declares a charge, subtract 2 from the charge roll. They don't have to be charging your unit. You just basically that unit there is going to charge us. I'm going to pin them down with fire to subtract 2 from their charge roll, regardless of who they charge. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then withdraw and reinforce at the end of your opponent's fight phase. Select an Anrath unit from your army that's not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, and just put it back in strategic reserves. And if it was below starting strength, return all destroyed non-character unit models to it.
That's useful.
They don't have to be at a battlefield edge. They could just be out in the middle of nowhere. Whoop, back into reserve at full strength. And for only 1 command point. I think it's not limited to once per phase. It's not limited to it's not limited to once per game, and it doesn't cost 2 command points. I think because it has to be a unit that is still technically on the table and surviving. It doesn't replace a unit, it just replenishes a unit. But
And
that is
Sky Reavers have deep strike, so if you hit them with it, you can come in anywhere.
Yep. Yeah, this is very much the primary Anrath detachment for Uriel and his group. But there is another. They decided to give you 2 options if you don't want to necessarily specifically build around Uriel. So they have the Corsair Coterie. So this one is, I think, a little bit more maybe aggressive. I don't know. Relentless Raiders is your detachment rule. While an objective marker is under your control, each time an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, fallback, or charge move within range of that objective marker, roll a d6 on a 2-up. That enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So when they come at an objective you control, they take damage.
I like it. A new way to blow people up.
And at the end of the phase, you sticky your objectives. And then Veterans of the Void, this is the same thing as before. You can give Anrath unit Corsair enhancements. And again, it can be any unit as long as it meets the keyword requirement. You know, we talked about this as possibly a change to like war gear costs, because like Richard, you had suggested, like, what if you could give a war gear benefit to like units in your army. This is kind of doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Corsair enhancements for this are Infamy, which is a 3-inch aura for any Anrath unit. While an enemy unit is within 3 inches of this unit, subtract 1 from their OC to a minimum of 1. So basically counter most battle line units, which solid. Webway Pathstone, also for Anrath units. Obviously, all these are going to be Anrath units. Models in this unit have the Deep Strike ability. In addition, once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit's not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, put it back in strategic reserves. Just uppy downy it once per game. Arch Raider, this one can only go on a character. At the start of the battle, select 1 character model in this unit. The model has the following ability: Lord of Deceit. Each time your opponent targets a unit from your army with a stratagem, if that unit's within 12 inches of this model, increase the cost of that use of the stratagem by a command point. So it's the aura that like Archons have.
But this one confuses me as I don't know of any Anrath character units.
The only ones I can think of are Iriel and Karseth.
Yeah, but they don't normally get enhancements.
Well, Uriel doesn't normally either, and yet he did in the last one. So I'm guessing.
Do you think they're changing the enhancement?
I think for these, because they are not regular enhancements, but they are specifically Corsair enhancements, they don't follow the same limitation.
Okay. If that's the case, then cool.
That would be my guess, because no, you're right. Normally you shouldn't be able to do that, but we already kind of broke that in the last attachment.
Because you're right.
Heck.
These do call out, they're not enhancements, they're Corsair enhancements. Every other one and every other detachment just says enhancement. So
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Karseth and Iriel are the only 2 Anrath characters I can see. So yeah, it would have to. So
Be one of those
you
two.
could put that on Iriel if you wanted to, or you could put it on Karseth if you wanted to. And then lastly, Voidstone, Anrath infantry unit only, which you could also put on those characters for no reason because they have better saves, but this gives the unit a 5-up invulnerable save. Which on a standard like Void Scarred unit would actually be very useful.
Yeah. Because like the Skyweavers have a 5-up armor, Void Reavers are 4-up armor, Void Scarred are 4-up armor. So any of them having an invuln save would be amazing.
Yeah. Our stratagems are Pirates Do. In the fight phase, select an Eldari unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, reroll wound rolls of 1. If they have the Anrath keyword, they just reroll wounds. And actually, I'm seeing this one as having a number of these where like, hey, it's better if you have... There's a couple of these where it's like, it's better if you have Anrath, but it's usable if you don't.
I feel that way about this whole detachment. It's usable standard, but if you've got the Anrath units, it's a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the difference. Like the detachment rule, any objective marker you control will do mortal wounds to your opponent. Anrath all have sticky objectives.
Right.
So yeah, this is the one where you can kind of mix and match a little bit more. Yeah, so Lethal Ruse, in your movement phase, just after an Eldari unit from your army falls back, until the end of the turn, they can charge. If they are Anrath, then in addition, you select an enemy unit you fell back from and roll 6d6, and on each 4-up, they take a mortal wound. So if you're Anrath, you run away and hurt them.
You run away throwing bombs.
Yes. Outcast Ambush, in your shooting phase, select a Rangers or Shroud Runners unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models from your unit have the Ignores Cover and Rapid Fire 1 abilities, and until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristic of those weapons by 1.
Solid.
All right, I'm going to break from this because our discussion about Corsair enhancements and the fact that they can go on epic characters when they normally shouldn't be able to raises another question for me.
Okay.
You can build Anrath characters from Crucible of Champions, right?
But you cannot. But you cannot give them enhancements. But it does not.
But
say
could you
can't
give them an enhancement?
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause it says,
if you can, then yeah.
Because it's what the Corsair Raider specialism gives them the Anrath keyword.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't see why you couldn't.
So we're just saying that the pirates are breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Yes, they're pirates.
Okay.
Remember, the rules are more guidelines anyway.
Fair.
Carrying on with stratagems. Into the breach for command point. When in your shooting phase, just after an Anrath unit from your army destroyed one or more enemy units, that Anrath unit gets to make a normal move of up to d6 plus 1 inches.
That's kind of cool. Just the mobility after killing something. You can either position for another one or position defensively. So
yeah, you can kind of do that fire and fade thing without spending a battle focus token to do it. Cloak and Shadow in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One of your Eldari infantry units that was within range of an objective marker and was targeted suddenly gains stealth and 18-inch lone up. And then finally, Vengeful Sorrow in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has shot for a command point. You select a Eldari infantry unit from your army if one or more models in that unit were destroyed, and if the unit is not battle shocked or within engagement range. So has to have been targeted by a shooting attack, has to have lost models, can't be battle shocked, can't be in engagement range. Then they get to make a d6 plus 1 inch surge move because they're sad mad.
Well, and this one is just Eldari, so scorpions, banshees.
Yeah. Again, the other detachment is definitely more strictly Corsairs, like strictly Anrath. This is the mix and match, use Corsairs, give them some buffs, make them more useful to your army, but also bring in other Eldari stuff and really get benefit from it.
Yeah, have the other Eldari stuff kind of be the hitters, and the Corsair pieces are just we're going to take care of the objectives and booby trap them. And if we get caught, we'll just throw bombs at you as we run away.
Right.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do. All right, moving on. We're going to leave the Eldari behind and move to a different faction, also known for having pirate-themed units, the Orcs with the Freebooter crew.
I'm just going to interrupt and say for a minute, I know they put Badrock on the made-to-order thing, but comparing him to what I've seen of all the new models, Badrock needs a new model badly.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing saying we won't see him on Monday or Tuesday. You know, like, hey, maybe next week.
Cheer for that.
It would be awesome if, we got a... I also, I don't know if there's a good way to recreate... Well, let's see. Could you recreate... Nah, he's not a mech, so top-tier Gubbins wouldn't be quite the right thing for a specialism, but... Yeah, I don't know if there's a great way to remake him with Crucible Champion. So maybe we'll get a new plastic Badrock with all the pirate stuff. We need him back.
Yep,
for sure.
So the Freebooter crew has the detachment rule: here be loot. At the start of the battle round, select one objective marker. Until the start of the next battle round, that objective marker is your loot objective. Anytime a model in Orcs infantry, mounted, or walker units from your army make an attack, they have sustained hits 1 if either or both of the following are true. That model's unit is on the loot objective, or your attack targets a unit within range of the loot objective. So if you're trying to protect it or you're trying to take it, you get sustained hits 1.
Man,
yeah, that's pretty nice.
That's very nice. Voton have to have theirs broken out.
Enhancements. Da Captain for war bosses only. Once per battle round at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Orcs unit that is battle shocked and within 12 inches of the bearer. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds and is no longer battle shocked. So the captain will have to shoot some guys and then they won't be battle shocked.
Yep.
Man, that sounds like something you'd find out in Guard.
That's a very commissar coded.
Yeah.
It's commissar with a K.
I do have that old War Games exclusive like Orc commissar model. So
Yeah, I have him too.
Get Spotter Squig. This is for any Orcs model. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the Bears unit having Norse cover. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's good. Bionic Workshop for big mechs or pain boys only. At the start of the battle, roll a d3 and compare the result to the list below. Until the end of the battle, models in the Bears unit have this Bionics ability. So one is Bionic Legs. Add 2 to the move characteristic of this model, so the entire unit gets plus 2 inches of movement. Bionic Arms, plus 1 strength to all their melee weapons. Or Bionic Bonce, or head. Improve the weapon skill characteristic of melee weapons equipped by this model by 1.
I kind of wish this was not a roll a d3, because I could see if you take this, a lot of orc players would probably like, oh yeah, if I pick legs, I will mod all of my models and give them bionic legs as opposed to their normal ones.
Yeah.
On the other hand, isn't rolling a random chart the most orky thing, though?
It is. It depends on whether you're going for orky or going for modeling.
Just make it all the bionics. Just make robo-orcs.
Whichever one that you roll is the one that's functioning today.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Raz gets magic map. Orc models only, so any orc model. After both players have deployed their armies, redeploy up to 3 units. So again, in a 1,000-point game, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And then your stratagems, bash and grab. In the fight phase for a command point, when orcs unit from your phase that has not been selected to fight yet, they re-roll wound rolls if they're fighting somebody on the loot objective. I wish this one was re-roll wound rolls of 1, re-roll all wound rolls if they're on the loot objective instead of being just the loot objective.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make it a little more generally useful. But, I mean, you can change your loot objective every turn. So
that is true.
Or every round.
On the other hand, loot objectives can still be fun to play around with grab and bash. In your command phase, you select an orcs unit, excluding Gretchen, that is within range of the loot objective. Until the start of your next command phase, the WA is active for that unit, even if you've already called a WA this battle.
Oh, gosh, no.
That does mean any abilities that would be in effect for the WA is active for when the WA is active for your army is in effect for that unit, and it is not limited to once per game.
Yeah. So, hey, look, a way to get Mega Knobs. They're invulnerable save all the time.
Yep. And remember, if they're on the loot objective, they're also sustained hits 1, in addition to anything else they get from the WA.
I don't think that's a good idea. I think orcs should never use that.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea, and I think orcs will be using that all the time if they play this.
So do I, which is why I don't like it.
Board and rush for a command point. In your movement phase, select an orcs unit that hasn't been selected to move yet. They auto-advance 6. Deck fraggers for a command point. In your shooting phase, select an orcs unit to shoot. Each time a model in your unit targets an infantry unit with a ranged weapon, your weapons gain blast.
Which is actually pretty nice, because the orcs don't actually have a ton of blast weapons.
But just imagine a mob of 20 orcs with shooters.
Yeah.
Attacking unit has like 10 models in it, and that's 20 models with blast.
Yeah.
Rolling loot heap for a command point. In your shooting phase, specifically one flash gets unit from your army that hasn't been selected to shoot yet. Their ranged weapons get anti-vehicle 4-up. Which
is helpful. The flash gets guns aren't like super powerful, so they're not that great against vehicles in general. So this helps.
Yeah, strength 6 on the snaz guns. They've already got the sustained hits 1, so they don't really care if they're on the about the loot objective. But yeah, strength 6 is not going to do much against vehicles, but anti-vehicle 4, now we're talking a different story. And 3 shots each at AP -1 with 2 damage apiece. That could actually, get some work done. And then crump and run for command point in your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit falls back. If you choose an orcs unit from your army that was in engagement range and isn't now, they get to make a normal move of 6 inches. So if they fall back, you just get right up on them after they've fallen back. Yeah, this one looks like a fun detachment. Being limited to 1 objective a turn that you're doing, and it could just be the same objective too, but it does encourage you to move around. And also, let's remember that in Maelstrom games, like Reap and Ruin games, your objectives will disappear off the board theoretically. So yeah, basically bullying your way onto an objective with sustained hits 1 is not a bad play. And then finally, the Mercenary Oathband for the Leagues of Votann, which I was kind of surprised that they got a pirate detachment, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joint venture where they're going into the Maelstrom to get stuff. I mean, I can see why.
Yeah. And we do have, while we don't have a complete discarding of an army rule the way they did in the Renegade Warband, you do this completely changes the army rule and how it works. So your Leagues of Votann units do not have hostile acquisition or fortified takeover except as described in this rule. At the start of the battle, your Leagues of Votann units have hostile acquisition. At the end of your command phase, you can spend 3 yield points, and if you do, you lose hostile acquisition and gain fortified takeover, or vice versa. So instead of worrying about, am I at 7 yield points yet, it's just, when do I have the points and do I want to spend it to flip modes?
Yep. Which I think is a very interesting way of doing it. And I kind of like it because it gives you, in a way, more control. And in here, there's even a way to kind of give you complete control so that you can always have the ability to flip it when you need. So I think I really like that aspect of it. Although you'll have to manage your yield points in a different way instead of just being either to try and keep it low or try and rush to the high number. You just need to keep 3 to flip it. And then all the extras is what you can use to fuel your abilities. Mm-hmm. So I like it because it's a different way to kind of play the army.
Yeah. It's like the mechanics of those 2 modes are the same. It's just how you get there is different. And yeah, it does give you a lot more control over it. So your enhancements are also going to lean into this a bit. So Mercenary Prospector for calls only. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed by the bear's unit, gain 2 yield points. Metaphysical Brokerage, Memnir Strategist only. At the end of your turn, if the bear's on the battlefield and you gained fewer than 3 yield points this turn, you gain an amount of yield point equal to the difference. So you will always gain at least 3 while they're on the table.
Yep. So this is kind of what I was saying would be the must-take enhancement. And Mimnir's already had an ability. If they were on an objective, you could raise or lower it by 1. But here you don't even have to be on an objective. You just have to be on the battlefield and say, oh, I didn't get anything. Oh, I got 3. Look at me. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
So nice.
The Adakarn SB9 targeting implant for any League of Votann model unit. Each time a model in the bear's unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. Each time the bear's unit is selected to shoot or fight, you can spend 3 yield points. If you do until the end of the phase, they get sustained hits 1 as well.
Yep. And that's another good one. I would think put on 6 Steeljacks with the Volkite disintegrators. That's 36 shots. You're bound to get some sustained.
Oh, yeah, no, don't.
I mean, they only do 1 damage each, Rob. It's nothing.
But still, that's still a lot of attacks, though. That's
yes, it is. I mean, in the Brandfath's detachment, I already do that, except sometimes with sustained too by getting out of vehicles. So yeah, it's always good to have sustained on those guys.
And then Asset Manipulator, in any League of Votann model, at the start of the command phase, you can spend 3 yield points. And if you do until the end of the turn, while an enemy unit is within 3 inches of the bearer, subtract 1 from their OC.
Could be useful.
It's the one it's the one I would be least likely to take.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Brokerage 1, Targeting Implant 2, and then one of the other 2.
Yeah, probably. And then Mercenary Prospector just to get extra yield points to spend. Your strats, Auxiliary Contract for command point. You're shooting or fight phase. Select a Leagues of Votann infantry or mounted unit. Their weapons get precision.
I think that's very useful.
That's super useful.
Yeah, because Votann currently don't really have a sniper unit. So having an infantry unit, they can just say, yeah, we got precision. Think if you got some Thunderkin suddenly with precision. I mean...
Thunderkin with precision. Honestly, the Hernkin Pioneers with precision with those autocannons would...
True.
Because you can do it with a mounted unit.
Yes.
Optimal expenditure. In the fight phase for command points, select an infantry unit has not yet been selected to fight. Each time you use the stratagem, you can spend 3 yield points. Until the end of the phase, you can reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. If you spent yield points, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 and reroll all the wounds instead. It is only in the fight phase. Yeah. But I like the fact that you don't have to spend the yield points. Depending on what strength you have. If I'm using it with Berserkers, maybe I don't because I'm already only going to fail to wound on 1s anyway. I like strats with flexibility like this, but also a way to activate the secondary mode if you want. Grand Artifice for command point. In your movement phase, just after a Leagues of Votann unit from your army falls back, they can still shoot and declare a charge.
One of my favorite types of stratagems, yes.
Yes. Privateer Arsenal. In your shooting phase, you select the Leagues of Voton infantry and it hasn't shot yet. And this one is basically the reverse of optimal expenditure. Every time you use it, you can spend 3 yield points. If you do, when you make an attack, and again, this is only in the shooting phase, you roll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. But if you spent yield points, you re-roll all the hits and just re-roll wounds of 1.
So shooting, you can make super good at hitting, and fighting, you can make super good at wounding.
Yes. New Horizons for command point. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, select an infantry unit that is not within engagement range, and 1 or more friendly transport it is able to embark within. And if they're wholly within 6 inches, they can embark.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to be able to get back into transports.
And then mobile exploitation. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, you select a Hernkin unit for a command point that is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, or you can spend a 2 yield point and select up to 2 Hernkin units and then just put them into strategic reserves.
I'd say the only nice thing about this is the fact that you can do it outside of the edge of the board. So it's middle of the board, you can still do it, because Pioneers already have this ability built in, but they have to be within 6 inches of the board edge.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Hernkin don't have any good way to deep strike or anything like that. So they'd still be coming in from table edges. So yeah, I think you'd really only want to do this with bikes, because they're the only ones who are going to have the mobility to get the most effect out of it.
They don't have deep strike either, so everyone will be coming in on board edges. But
well, yeah, they'd be coming in on board edges, but there's a difference between coming in on board edges and having bike mobility afterwards, or having 5 inches of stubby leg movement.
That's fair. There might be a vehicle. Let me, because I believe the
is the Capricus Hernkin?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, I believe it is.
I think both of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Defender and Carrier both have the Hernkin.
Oh,
trait.
okay. All right, that actually changes things a bit. Being able to reposition a pair of Capricus Defenders for 2 yield points and a command point, I think that's fair.
Wait, does it say unit? So in theory, you could do 4 Defenders.
It is a Hernkin unit or up to 2 Hernkin units.
So Capricus Defenders can go in units of 2. So you can remove 2 of them over here, 2 of them over there, and have 2 squads of 2 big guns come in where you want them.
Yeah. Okay, that's solid.
You're exploiting their mobility.
So yeah, that would be quite good.
I think this is a fun detachment to try, because kind of like the other ones, you don't have to focus on the Hernkin.
No,
you don't have to focus on the strategist, but it has a little bit for everything. So yeah, you get to target your prioritized efficiency to what you want the army to be doing, as opposed to in the other one, unless you're into hostile and you want to get there quickly. If you want to be more defensive, this can get you to defensive a lot faster than a standard Voton army.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking about the that metaphysical brokerage for the Memnir strategist. Like in some cases, it would be hard to there's a couple things where you maybe you might not have trouble getting the 2 or 3 yield points. But again, in the Maelstrom campaign, objectives can disappear from the board.
Yep.
Or they move around, so the objective might not be in your deployment zone anymore.
And also, you can think of this as a backup plan.
Yep. As long as you have a Memnir strategist, you will always have, and with metaphysical brokerage, you will always have an ability to get 3 yield points and then be able to flip modes if you need to.
Either flip modes, or if you're happy with the mode you've got, most of the stratagems were 3 yield points to do their better effect.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is taking an army's mechanic and finding a way to kind of turn it on its head a little bit and interact with it in a different way, but still fundamentally be the same. And these detachments in here play around with army mechanics in some way. So I like seeing it. I like seeing this kind of a little bit more experimentation. And it's the kind of thing that we had kind of hoped to see from the detachment system. And this has been one of the things that every time we've rated the game over the last 3 years, like this edition, we're like, yeah, the detachment system is working as intended, and I still think it continues to do so. Could individual balance on detachments power-wise be better? Sure. But I think there's that's one of the great things about narrative play is the balance isn't really that important a part of it. It's like finding ways to make an army that plays the way you want to play. And I think that's what like Games Workshop has been leaning more into, and I think with some of the more modular stuff we're seeing, like I think Apocalypse is going to be, again, more play the way you want to play. So I am all for supporting more styles of play rather than just what is the meta, what is the most powerful option.
And I think before people leaned into that because that was, I'll say it, I don't think people had as many play groups or organized play groups back then. And so the only way you could actually like play a bunch of people was going to the tournaments. And then that's kind of what spawned all the meta. But I think in recent years, GW has put a lot of effort into just saying, hey, here's ways to play. Here, form a play group. Hey, here's more events that have different ways to do things. And I think people have seen that. They're embracing it. I know we've had in the before, they talked about Garage Hammer versus Tournament Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're seeing some of that Garage Hammer come out of the garage and going to events where there's other things other than like the big tournaments. Or I think if you've got a big enough group, sometimes garages can't fit it all. Like our little play group goes to a store. I mean, we take up 3 tables, but we get games in. And so that's, I think because the game's been growing, we're seeing more of just events that are not just competitive meta games. It's kind of expanding.
Yeah. Like it is very cool just to see how the game is growing, like especially as we are nearing the end of the edition. And there's a lot of things that can be said that have worked or have not worked about 10th edition and things that could be tweaked going into 11th, but I cannot fault them for creating a game that is accessible to a wide variety of players who want different things out of the game. I think they've done a fantastic job of that. And I think these detachments kind of reinforce that as well. And, you know, again, just more stuff that came out of the Maelstrom book that, you know, I think it's one of the best things that they've released in a while. And it also makes me excited for Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron, because they also said there were new detachments coming for that as well. If I can find the list of them.
I'm kind of hoping it's an APOC detachment for every faction.
Well, and that, yeah, it's like, will there be Apocalypse intended detachments? But they do, like, they say the 3rd book features new detachments for Chaos Space Marines, which, not surprising, we're going to have an Iron Warrior style detachment. Space Marines, Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, and Adeptus Mechanicus, with options for running armies full of demon engines, Free Blade Knights, Skitari, like cohorts of murderous Skitari. I want to see a Dark Mechanicus detachment. We said it's doable. Figure it out, and
maybe
more.
That'll be an army next edition.
Yeah, could be. Without it, again, doesn't necessarily have to be a whole faction. Just figure out how to work it into like a battle, like a Brood Brothers type mechanics.
A Vashtor detachment with them.
Oh, that would be so cool. A Vashtor detachment with extremely painful models to paint. Although, yeah, there was a something from Tumblr I posted it on our painting table sub chat. It was like, on the one hand, detailed minis. On the other hand, painful, agonizing, detailed minis. The Atmic painting experience. And then one of our patrons pointed out they forgot expensive. As someone who owns 5 Dragoons, those things are like $2 a point.
Wow.
Admech is a rough army to get into if you do not already have an army, because they kept trying to figure out how to balance it, and all they could come up with was Horde army. I guess it's a Horde army. Okay.
Well, I think I hate saying this, we need more Horde armies in a way, because if they made them elite, well, you already got Custodes. Space Marines are already kind of elite. So yeah, they need, I mean, I guess we got Guard is the only really Horde army, but half of Guard is tank. So don't know.
Yeah. Like Imperium wise, even sisters are a little bit more elite than they are.
Man, I miss when I could have 20 sisters in a squad.
I mean, you could take a bunch of cheap bodies and Imperial agents if you really wanted to.
But I think even their numbers don't go as high as 20.
No, but you've got like a lot of options. You could make a really big Horde army with Imperial agents. It would not be good.
And it would be it'd also be very expensive to do that.
Right. I am not advocating anyone do this. I'm just saying you could.
It is theoretically possible.
Possible, yes. Plausible, maybe. Good? Nah.
Definitely not.
And I think that pretty much wraps up all we were going to get through for today. We've got something special planned for our next episode, but I'll reveal more then. But we do have an announcement we want to make, and these are not about events we are running, but these are 3 narrative events that are coming up. So first one is on May 1st through 3rd, and that is a narrative event at the Richmond Open. This is the event is specifically the Reticulae Ordax Anomaly, and this event is being run by friend of the show, Chris Stover, who has been on the show a couple of times. You might recognize him as a couple of different characters from past Grand Narratives. We are wanting to share these events. He is involved in all 3 of these. He is running all of these. So the first one, again, Richmond Open, the Reticulous Ordax Anomaly. That is a 3-day narrative event with 6 battles, several story and mission briefings. There's going to be a lot of different elements involved with that one. Those tickets are available. They are $100, and we will have links to that event in the show notes. Secondly, there's the Seataculum Awakening. This is in Seattle, or specifically Mount Vernon, Washington. This is another narrative event that Chris is running. It is going to be May 16th to 17th. And again, tickets are available. They are also $100. And if you go to the link in the show notes for this one, actually for both the Richmond and Seattle events, all the information on kind of how the flow of the mission is going to go and what the rules are available on those pages. And again, we will have those links in the show notes. And then third, at the American Team Championships, people tend to associate the ATC with the 5-player team events. That is the big event that, that is hosted there. But they have a narrative this year. That is going to be June 26th through 28th. Again, $100 a ticket. That one does not have quite the information available for it yet, but tickets are available. And Chris runs some top tier narrative events, including like at Nova Open. So if you want to check out one of his events, you've got one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. And where is ATC held?
I think that's Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, that's right. That's Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it's got
East Coast-ish.
It's East Coast-ish. Yeah, it's like right. Chattanooga is literally on the border of Central and Eastern time. I've driven through there several times. So yeah, right on the edge of Central and Eastern, but it is more East Coast. But you've got one West Coast, 2 East Coast events, and we will be talking about those more in the future. But yes, definitely start getting your tickets. Those tend to run out. There are 47 tickets left for the Richmond Open event. I don't think and 44 tickets left for the Seattle event. Don't know how many tickets are left for the ATC event. That information is on the website yet, other than you can get the tickets now. We will have links to all of these in the show notes, but definitely if you get a chance and you want to check out an awesome narrative event, Chris runs a great show. So,
and if you can't make it to one of those, you can come to the Midwest Conquest.
Yes, Midwest Conquest. We will have our own narrative event run by our very own Dennis and Kevin. That is coming up Memorial Day weekend in Kansas City. You can get information at midwestconquest.com. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode of Preferred Enemies. Like I said, we've got something special planned in a couple of weeks. But until then, from all of us here at Preferred Enemies, I'm your host, Rob.
Kevin.
Dennis.
And Richard.
Good night, good gaming, and goodness, there's a lot of things coming out for 40K, even if it's near the end.